There are some heroes, legendary heroes in Call of Dragons, which I believe should get some buffs in order for them to be useful in open field PvP. And we have also seen by the developers of Call of Dragons that they have managed to buff some old generation heroes in this game and they become viable, right? For example, even Syndra and Freygar, the follow-up feature which was added towards this Archer lineup was a buff. We have also seen that, for example, for Thundolin, they buffed Thundolin a couple of times, which means there is a possibility that in the future we are going to get some buffs to some legendary heroes in this game, and those buffed up legendary heroes will be used more frequently. In this video, I will give you 5 legendary heroes from my suggestions which I believe need some buffs in order for them to compete at least for the next generation of heroes, right? And that's especially great for free-to-play players because free-to-play players like to have heroes which are versatile, which can be used in even in later stages of the game. So we have some 5 heroes. I choose 5 heroes which I believe should be buffed in near future in order for them to be useful in open field PvP. So number 1 hero, and as an archer main, I will start with archer hero, which I believe should be buffed a little bit. And let's go with archers, and the first hero which I'm going to speak regarding the buffs which she should get is Kinara, right? Kinara was great in season 1, like for beginners, Kinara is good, right? And Kinara is good because you don't have any other options when you start the game. That's the hero which you can actually get from the gold keys. That's the first hero for the marksman, Kinara and Nico. I believe even Nico was buffed because they removed the skill which was engineering skill and they added PvP talent tree and the first skill, and that's why my focus is on Kinara, right? You might ask what they should do in order for them to buff Kinara, right? And I'm not going to say give Kinara more skill damage factor because I believe 1.4k skill damage factor is quite enough. I'm not really speaking about debuffs because Kinara doesn't really need more debuffs to apply towards opponents. I'm speaking about the buffs, the attribute buffs, which is really important. And if you will check out, like G1 legendary heroes has way less buffs than G2, G3, G4, and G5 and G6, right? And buffs which I believe should apply towards Kinara is first of all from the third skill, right? Why we only have one buff from the third skill? Marksman PvP, marksman physical attack bonus 30%, right? And that's the only buff. Where is the second buff, right? And we all know that for the one skill from the legendary hero, only one buff is never enough, right? And I'm looking for march speed bonus, I'm looking for defense bonus, even 30% physical attack bonus is not a lot, right? It's average. Why not make 35-40% physical attack bonus from this third skill? Why not add additional attribute buffs like, for example, defense bonus, for example, HP bonus, for example, march speed bonus, which are all important buffs for open field PvP? I'm asking this question for a long time towards myself, and that's the reason why I decided to make this kind of video. I believe Kinara should be buffed. We should have at least second attribute buff, like march speed bonus from the third skill. Additionally, at least like 10 or 15% would be amazing, right? Even the 30% marksman physical attack bonus, I believe, is not enough. And towards like other skills, I believe the percentages are quite enough, like 20%, can be 25% easily. And debuffs, I believe we should not really touch debuffs, 30%, 20% debuffs. That's enough, right? But we need more damage from this hero. We need another attribute from the third skill. We need a little bit more normal attack damage bonus from the second skill. And I believe first skill is quite enough, 1.4k. skill damage factor is enough for the archer gameplay, because archers doesn't really deal too much damage from the skill damage factor. That's why I believe if we are going to buff some attributes from the Kinara gameplay, she will be more viable. Just add another attribute bonus from the third skill. Kinara will be way more useful than she is right now. So that's basically our first hero which I believe should be buffed in Call of Dragons. The second hero which I believe should be buffed is Cavalry, right? It's a cavalry hero, and that's Bakshi. Why I'm speaking about Bakshi? Because unfortunately Bakshi still has second skill, which is peacekeeping. Since we have seen that in this game Garwood had Garrison skill, second skill, and they changed it. Nico had second skill, engineering skill, and they changed it, and now it's open field PvP skill. Why not make Garwood's second skill PvP skill, right? Why not? Add some skill damage factor, add some march speed, add some defense bonuses. Basically, Bakshi has only 3 skill besides awakening skill, and imagine how amazing Bakshi will be if this second skill will be useful in open field PvP. That will be a huge buff, right? And I believe that's the case. And if we are speaking about other skills, well, even the third skill, 10% HP bonus, is a number which we can see on epic heroes, right? 20% physical attack bonus we can see on epic heroes. That's not really enough. In terms of like third skill, first skill, well, first skill 30% rage accumulation speed is enough, healing factor 200 is enough, attack and defense bonus 30% is quite good, right? Just I don't understand why we still have second skill only for peacekeeping and why we have a third skill like an epic hero percentages. 10% and 20%, that's basically you can see on some epic heroes. That's what you're gonna get from epic heroes, right? Like 10% march speed, 20% attack bonus, like come on, 20% HP bonus, and we have Bakshi who has 10% HP bonus. Come on, like Bakshi's attribute bonuses are quite similar to Marduk's attribute bonuses, right? Because 20% physical attack bonus, 20% physical attack bonus. We should have a difference between epic heroes and legendary heroes, because legendary heroes needs way more resources in order for them to make strong and increase levels. That's why my suggestion, increase percentage bonuses on Bakshi's third skill, make second skill viable for open field PvP, and problem is solved. Way more people will use Bakshi, and Bakshi will start competing with higher generation heroes. Sometimes I feel like generation 1 heroes are being lost, because, well, I know more and new heroes should be better and better, but Generation 1 heroes are still here, it's viable for free-to-play players, why not make them even stronger? And not like OP stronger, just little bit stronger, so they will be more viable. That's my second hero, which I believe should be buffed in near future. Now, let's go and let's check out infantry stage, and let's check out third hero, which I believe should be buffed for sure. That's Nika, right? If we're gonna speak about Nika, we know that Nika is not the most tanky infantry hero. Nika's main idea is to deal damage and have a high march speed, but even that high march speed and dealing damage is not quite enough, right? Yet again, Generation 1 hero with peacekeeping skill, the second skill especially, and the third skill, come on. Infantry physical attack bonus only 20%, infantry march speed bonus 10%. 10% and 20%, I will repeat, those are the numbers for the epic heroes. And we are seeing some Generation 1 heroes, legendary heroes, who has the epic hero stats. That's not enough. even 20% counterattack damage is nothing basically. Why not 25? Why not 30? It's a legendary hero, right? But I believe main buff which Nika can get is making second skill for open field PvP and not for only peacekeeping, and make third skill attributes a little bit higher, right? Why not make 25-30% physical attack bonus? Why only 10% march speed? Because I believe 10%, if you're gonna see anything for 10%, that's for epic heroes. That's for epic heroes for sure. Like, let's check out Bakshi, right? Bahar, and Bahar has 10% attack, 10% defense. Come on, like 10% attack, 10% defense, and Nika has 20% attack and 10% march speed. That's not enough, right? We should have way more. 50% from the epic hero for the physical attack, 20% attack reduction. Yeah, that's not enough. That's for sure not enough. Why not make 25%? Why not make 30%? Why only 10% march speed? I have no idea, but for sure I know that Nika needs some more buffs in order for Nika to be more viable and to be more accessible for open field PvP. That's for sure. So I believe Nika is the third hero which needs to be buffed in order for him to be more viable, and I believe a lot of players will start using Nika. And unfortunately, Nika is mainly used for cavalry players because Nika is not doing much for infantry. That's the case. If the second skill will be changed and third skill will have some additional buffs, I believe Nika will be used more frequently, especially for free-to-play players. Now, let's go and let's speak about fourth hero which I believe should be buffed for sure. And we are going towards mages, right? For the mages, I believe Thalia should be buffed a little bit more, right? Since they buffed Thunderlin twice. If not, I would say Thunderlin, but after the buffs, Thunderlin is more used. Now I have to speak about Thalia, right? Well, 1.6k skill damage factor. We know that mages are dealing damage by solely from the skill damage factor. Why not 2000? Why Thalia does not have 2k skill damage factor? Yes, I understand, damage dealt bonus 50% is quite nice, but even that is not much, right? And we are speaking about Generation 3 legendary hero, right? Let's go and let's move forward. 25% attack bonus, 25% defense bonus. 10%, 50%, 20%, that's epic numbers. But since we are already getting Generation 6 heroes, I believe 30% should be minimum for legendary heroes. Why not add 5% towards attack and defense bonuses? They will make Thalia more viable. Magic unit hero skill damage dealt bonus, and that's 20%. 20% is epic hero stat bonuses. Why not 25? Why not 30? That's another reason, right? And yeah, here, while in battle, Legion has a 10% chance to gain a shield for 5 seconds, and shield is for only 115. Basically, useless awakening skill. If you are not going to awaken Thalia, you are not missing much. Why not make shield even more? Why not 300? Why not double the shield? Why only 10% chance? Why only for 5 seconds? That's some kind of questions I have towards Thalia. Well, Thalia and Thunderlin, when they was released, they were really weak. But because they buffed Thunderlin twice, Thunderlin is nice, but Thalia is still same, right? I know Thalia is support magic kind of buffer, but 150 shield factor, what will do 150 shield factor? It will do nothing, and 5 seconds is nothing, and 10% chance. So basically, give Thalia a little bit higher, like just let's add 200 more skill damage factor, let's add 5% bonus more, and let's actually change awakening skill to a little bit higher numbers. Why not? Since newer heroes are getting better and better attributes, better and better stats, while we are forgetting our old heroes. That's basically my fourth hero, which I believe should be buffed a little bit more in order for them to be useful. The last hero, the fifth hero which I believe should be buffed, is Bahron, right? Bahron, well, when Bahron came out in the game, everybody was excited because when in Call of Dragons Flying Hero comes out, everybody is excited, right? But unfortunately, Bahron is one of the most least used legendary hero in the game because I believe Bahron doesn't really have a specific playstyle. Yes, I know, like 1k skill damage factor, come on, like 1000? We're gonna see a lot of epic heroes in this game which are dealing more than 1000 skill damage factor. We are speaking about legendary hero, flying hero, generation 2, and only 1000 skill damage factor. For sure, if it was my decision, I would buff this skill damage factor. Let's make it 1.4, 1.5k. That would be even better, right? Also, attack bonus 10%. 10%, we are going to get 10% attack bonus from the epic heroes which are gatherers. Come on, like, let's check out Tara, right? 10% defense bonus, 10% HP bonus, 50% attack bonus for 4 legions. And for the Bahron, which is legendary hero, we are getting 10% attack bonus. Why not 20%? Like, I'm generally asking, why not 20%? 10% is too low. 10% is worse than epic hero. So attack bonus needs to be buffed for sure. Of course, 20% March with bonus is quite nice, but attack bonus needs to be way more. Let's check out the third skill. 10% defense bonus. That's epic hero stat. Why not 20% defense bonus? 6% damage dealt bonus. Why not 10? 20% marksman normal attack damage bonus is nice. Magic unit damage taken reduction 10%. Damage taken reduction 10% for surrounding legions. Bahron has only for magic, and that's 10%. Come on, like even the third skill stats needs to be better and needs to be way better. 10%, 50% buffs are never enough. Even the fourth skill, damage taken reduction 10%. Come on, 10% is the stat for the epic hero. So I believe for Bahron, first skill needs to be buffed, second skill needs to be buffed, third skill needs to be buffed, and fourth skill needs to be buffed. Simply, the percentage bonuses are just too low. That's my honest opinion. That was our last hero, which I believe should be buffed in order for us to use these kind of heroes more frequently. As always, I'm interested what kind of heroes you think should be buffed, and share them in terms of comment section. And as always, if you like the video, press like, subscribe, share. It always gives me more and more motivation to make more content for this game. I wish everybody an amazing day, morning and night. We are going to see each other really soon. Bye bye and good luck.